Tactile and textile are integral to each other. I choose the texture as my line of investigation because I think this element can be best to visualize the tactile experience. Taking a step further, how crucial would tactile sensation be if we were visually impaired or even completely invisible? I was inspired by my friend who has red-green blindness, which prevents him from fully understanding my previous design works. Therefore, I had an interview with him about what kind of fabric design would be attractive for him. Then I learned that he prefers the clothes with the unique textures and shapes over those with complicated 2D patterns. The reason is that he distinguishes the colors only by the light and shade. As a result, he relies more on the sense of touch while choosing the fabric products. The deeper the degree of the human visual impairment, the greater the reliance on the texture of the item. I want to make the fabrics that everyone can feel, and I hope my design can be perceived by everyone through the change of the texture, which convey a double effect of the visual and tactile sensation. I choose to use the felt and embroidery on my final samples. In the 3D fabric design, I believe the touch of the felt and embroidery is optimal as they are tangible and distinct enough to be distinguished. In the turn of the materials, the monotextile concept introduced in the class was quite interesting, so I decided to make my work by using only 100% wool. I chose the different forms of the wool materials, such as the wool yarn, felt, and the wool woven fabric to bring out different tactile sensations. To understand and explore what my friend actually sees, I downloaded a colorblind visual simulator app to model the color in his eyes through the camera filters. This experiment showed that in the color view, the black, white, gray, and brown are the same as their original color. With the natural color and the texture of the wool, this collection of the color is highly suitable for the soft and comfortable fabrics. My first sample was made mainly by the needle felting, which means making a 3D design by poking a needle into the pure wool weaved fabric. I was inspired by a blind-friendly map that used the 3-dimensional embossment to represent the landscape. The material are the fine wool thread and wool roving. I used the white wool roving to poke up a round bump on the base fabric, leaving the shapes like snowy hue, which looks like quite adorable and make you want to press them with your finger. Then I used the wool thread as the background color by poking it on the clothes little by little until the background was all covered. The short, dense fleece texture and the round white bumps also complement each other to generate a tactile and a visual impression. My second sample, I made a base through the welt felting, and I added a few gray color wool as the decoration. After that, I poked up some hues on the felt to make a 3D fabric pattern. Through many previous felting experiments, I found that the felting pressure applied to the wool has a great impact on the fluffiness of the wool and can even change the shape of the felt directly. I also tried the embroidery method by applying the pressure to the felt through the fine wool thread on the felted base, thus changing its shape. In addition, the embroidered dash even became a part of the piece as an embellishment, creating a unique tactile experience with the oddly shaped bump and all the stitches. The third sample, I decided to make the further attempts on the embroidery by using it as a major method to create a texture. The base was also made by the wet felting. I did embroidery on the felt to create densely knit texture. It's just like brow, and a new way to stitch the wool roving to create new texture. The last sample was made by the shibori felting. It is similar to the thermoplastic fabric in that the shaping is achieved by binding beads. In the process, I put in small beads to create bowl-shaped bolts and used the plastic wrap to separate the middle and top layer of the wool, creating a pocket compartment effect. When the felt was finished, I cut open the top layer to reveal the middle layer of the felt. Lastly, I embroidered a little bit along the folds. The process of making those 4 works has pushed me to keep exploring more methods for woolen products and trying to strike a balance between the tactile and visual experience. I really hope that my audience, whether they are visually impaired or not, can enjoy my work through the designs.